If you don't think that your success in this business is completely tied to how you are operating inside, then you will not succeed. I promise you. If you are throwing ethics, if you are throwing your energy, and if you are throwing your mind to unnecessary activity, unnecessary reactions and unnecessary experiences will pop up in your life. That is the result. Everything that you're seeing right now in your experience, you brought. Own it. Because the moment that you decide you're a victim, you lost control.
Wow. Yeah.
I have a friend named Matthew Ferry. He gave me 23 exercises that I do on a daily basis. I try to incorporate all these exercises into the way that I move in the world, because I understand that when I show up a specific way, I receive a specific result. So we're going to go over those. How many of you are ready to see something different in your day? Let's get it. First and foremost, I need you to understand that emotionally, we vibrate in different patterns. When you are sad, when you are disappointed, when you are comparing yourself, when you are putting yourself below, that vibration is more dense. The more dense your vibration, the more dense your experience. The lower the vibratory pattern of your experience. How many of you guys are following that? Meaning, when you are acting and moving in anger, when you are acting and moving in jealousy, when you are acting and moving in greed, when you are acting and moving in lust, when you are acting and moving in a low form, the experience that you will gain from that action will be of that nature. It cannot be another way. So what can we do? I don't know if I'll ever get this right. All right. First, we're going to talk about how we are putting ourselves in a prison. Subconsciously, so much of our day happens without our knowing. In fact, I got to this place today. I have no flipping clue how I got here. I mean, for real. I've done this drive so many times that I know the lights. I'm on the freeway. I have no idea what happened on the freeway. But nobody died. Everybody survived. I did too. I stopped at all the red lights. I drove the speed limit. I used my indicator when I changed lanes. I merged like a human being. I did all the things completely unconsciously. How many of you are thinking about your heart beating right now? Not a single one of you. Yet every one of you, well, now you are. But before that, every one of you wasn't. Yet every one of you was having a beating heart. So subconsciously, so many things are happening to us. And what we give attention to is where we are putting our power. This is why your attention, your thoughts, and the patterns that are associated with that attention and that thought is extremely important, because when you are conscious for those brief moments in the day, imagine the amount of power that you are putting towards that attention. Secondly, deep within us are motives that we may or may not understand are underlying. When Pace said that I have the gift of discernment, it's not so much discernment, it's that I know what the fuck is going on underneath it all. Why? Because I pulled back the layers of myself. Every single one of these motives I have in me. And the moment that I decided to accept that, the easier it was for me to fix it. Then lastly, we are going to go through some specific actionable practices that we can put into our day that can help us escalate and readdress some of the patterns that we may not be consciously wanting to have in our life. So the subconscious mind, right? Beautiful, beautiful thing because it allows us to operate, it allows us to survive. It takes in so much information from the world, it processes it, and it gives us an understanding of where we can be safe. Safety is by far the key role of our subconscious mind to keep us alive. The problem is that keeping you alive can also keep you very small. Because what you're doing right now, even in being in this room, could be a threat. Every one of you made an investment to be here. Some of you may not even have a way or a plan yet on how to pay the investment back. So subconsciously, that could be a threat. Yet, every one of you took and made the decision to be here. So you have already transcended one of those pitfalls or traps that your subconscious mind would want to keep you from elevating your life. So congratulations on that. But how many of you had to make a conscious decision? How many of you toiled? How many of you wrestled with yourself of, should I? Am I ready? Every one of the lies you told yourself that almost didn't get you in the seat is an example of that subconscious mind. And all of the lies it'll tell you to keep you small. How many of you can think of or have a memory of some of those excuses or some of the thoughts that were in your mind that almost didn't let you get into the seat? Hands up. If that happened, there you look at the room. Now, of course, we don't want to get rid of this. We need it. Got to survive. I got to live. I can't walk into the dragon's mouth. I can't run off the road. I can't put myself in dangerous situations. True. But we have to understand what's risk and what's premeditated action. There's recklessness, and then there's actual growth. So we have to break through the subconscious barrier to step towards growth, and we also have to bless and honor our subconscious mind so that we aren't being reckless. Understood? These hidden motives to survive are incredibly powerful, and I want you guys to all look at this table of motives. Beautiful. Greed. I mean, how many of us have been in a situation working on a deal, talking to a seller, talking to a real estate agent, talking to another wholesaler, talking to another sub-2 student, talking to a buyer, talking to a seller, talking to somebody where greed had a voice at the table. You didn't have to listen to it, but how many of us have had greed sit at the table? I've had it. We can identify it. We know what it feels like. We know what it smells like. We know who it is. We know the voice, because that voice is telling you there isn't enough. That voice is telling you that you need to do better. That voice is telling you that if you don't win in this exchange, they got the best of you. Greed will oftentimes mask itself in competitiveness. And so we lie to ourselves to say we're being competitive when in actuality we're just being greedy. Being competitive isn't a problem, but you see what competition is. When Pace described, we compete to see who can bring each other more value. We compete to see who can love each other more. That's competition. Competition isn't we're competing to see who can make more money this month. It's never been that. It's never been that. And if I could be honest with you and I could tell you the hundreds of thousands of dollars that Pace has made me in my life far outweighs how much I've made him. That's real. Does he keep score? No. He shows back up with another gift. That's competitiveness. Grudge. How many of us are holding one right now? Somewhere, somehow, deep-seated, maybe from elementary school, maybe from middle school, maybe from high school, maybe an ex-spouse, maybe a sibling, maybe a boss, maybe a coworker. Who here has somebody they can't wait to see you succeed? Who's got somebody in their life that you're just like, man, when you see where I go? Who's got that? Who's got that person? Yeah, that's what I mean. Just be honest. It's time to peel it back. I have so many exes. I love knowing they watch me on TV. It's great. I look good, right? Let's be real. Grudge. It's there. It's behind the layers. It exists. It's a motive. It can push you far, but it'll hold you back when you get to a spot. That grudge isn't love. It can be fuel, but I can tell you, when you fill your fuel with the wrong kind of energy, the result is the wrong result. Now, those exes who watch me on TV, do you think they're saying, wow, what a great guy, I missed out on him? Hell no. No, they're like, that piece of shit. Hate that guy. Hate that guy. So the result that I think might be happening, right, isn't really happening. Because they're all sitting there with negativity and they're just staring negativity at that screen. And I can feel it all the way here. That's how I know it's not what I intended it to be. Hatred. Some of us have this in some of the most illogical places that it can exist. I've been watching people over the last few days talk about politicians like they're their friends. Like they know you or something. Still, to the bitter end, they're duking it out right now on Facebook. It's incredible. It's incredible to watch where we will put our energy into things that we'll attach ourselves to for meaning. Because we want to feel a part of a group. We want to feel a part of a collective. But then when you put yourself in a collective and then you stare out at another one and you say, I'm right, they're wrong, it's us and them. And when we start to do that, we start to put things outside of God. We start to put things outside of that energy soup that we know scientifically actually exists. Again, the only action that fear will give is more fear, more negativity. Now, people do that for religion, they do that for politics, and they do that for ideology. They'll even do it about real estate. People are like, what do you mean you don't like Burr Pace? How could you? But think about it. How many lines are you drawing in the sand? Can you think of any? Victim. Oh, victim is so fun. Well, it allows us to feel good sometimes. It sure does. Being a victim, scrumptious. Really? Pace and I had a friend, rest in peace. This individual, his wife passed away, cancer. And for 5 years, any conversation he had with every person he came into contact with was, I'm a widow, my wife died of cancer, while he was picking your pocket. Every time. In fact, his pain was his pride. How many of you know somebody like that? They wear their pain like it's their badge of honor. In fact, they need the disease. They need the disease. They need the disease because the disease gives them meaning. It gives them some way to separate themselves from the pack. I'm the weak one. I'm the victim. I'm special. Treat me special. You see those posts on Facebook sometimes, that one person who just took a giant shit right in the Facebook group. I'm mad, nobody's helping me. I'm mad, nobody's doing something for me. I'm mad, I don't have my first deal. I'm mad. How many of you seen that? That's my badge. That's my pride. This individual, unfortunately, his son ends up getting cancer. And it started right over again. My son has cancer. I'll just take that right out of your pocket. Thank you. Literally ran around the city robbing people. I'm not kidding. And I hate to speak on somebody dead like that, but it was incredibly interesting to watch. Sometimes we just give him money because we knew that was the ultimate thing he was looking for. But it was always that. My pain, pay me. So one morning he takes a picture of himself in his hospital bed. And he's like, I could use some love today. I could use some prayers. I'm going to get my gallbladder removed. Everybody, my life has been so hard. My wife died. My son has cancer. And now I'm going to have my gallbladder removed. It's hard. There's a GoFundMe in my link in bio. Didn't come out. Passed away. His pain was his badge, and his badge was his coffin. The only action that fear will give is in more fear. The illogical rule. Again, some of us are holding people accountable to situations and promises they never even made with us. I was grouchy this morning because there was a mess in my kitchen. I'm being real. I was like, man, this kid never does the damn dishes. I'm working 16 hours and I gotta go home. I gotta wake up this morning and I gotta clean up the kitchen. BS. Wah. I never told her to wash the dishes. Nobody said anything to her. She never made the agreement with me to do that. Now, if she had made the agreement with me to do that and then she didn't do that, I have something that I can hold her accountable to, but the agreement was never made. The agreement was never made. What the hell am I mad about right now? Expectation that didn't even exist because it was only in my mind. Again, we're doing this to our spouses, we're doing this to our significant others, we're doing this to our friends, we're doing this to our parents, we're doing this to our siblings, holding them accountable to agreements they never made with us, and then when they don't do the thing we want them to do, we say, you suck. How many of us have that in our life right now? Peeling layers, right? False humility. When you start to grow and you start to make things happen, people won't like it. Believe that. How many rooms, Pace, you have to walk into and dim your light?
Every one of them.
Every one of them. Not kidding. In fact, the problem is with a lot of times you walk into a room like that and you come in and you are who you are. And we are all who we are. Some of us just don't realize it yet. But you walk into a room and when you're truly in your power and people can't understand it, they can't fathom how you walked into authenticity in that way. And it hurts. And so what do? We put a layer of fake up so that I can make you more comfortable. How many of you have to do that in family situations right now when you're making money and you're doing deals and you made 20,000 bucks and you want to scream it from the rooftops, yet everybody is going to be pissed off if you do. Or they might send you a DM and say, hey, asshole, you made 20 grand, I need 5 of it. I got bills to pay and you're rich. It's a fact. As you grow and as you gain, you are going to have people that are going to treat you that way. Your shine will be their pain. So the false humility, unfortunately, the problem with that is that when you are in a room and you are vibrating in an escalated way, the goal should be to raise the entire room, not lower yourself, not dim yourself. When a light enters a dark room, what should happen to the dark room? It should illumine. Traitor, who makes promises to themselves they don't keep. Boy, your integrity is important. But how sad is it that sometimes, and oftentimes actually, the most unimportant person to keep a promise to is yourself. You're ready to bend over backwards for the entire world, but there was something you needed to do for you and it just didn't make the cut. That, compounded over time, will kill you. It will kill your dreams. And when you're on your deathbed, you'll have nothing but regret and people to blame. So being impeccable with your word to yourself should be more important to you than keeping your word to other people. I have non-negotiables in my life. Pace knows it. He says to me, Jamil, you're the most consistent person I know. That's what attracts me to you. Man, you show up every single day. I can pretty well guarantee I know where you're going to be at whatever time of the day it is. You are habitually consistent. Actually, what it is I am very true to myself. I'm so true to myself that everybody can F off. So what it is. At the end of the day, I want to be able to look at myself in the mirror and say, at least you showed up for you. Pride. It keeps us from forgiving. And the problem when we hold on to a pain or a memory or something that somebody did to us that was negative or pushed us down, and when we hold that, we return to that vibration every time we remember the grudge. Forgiveness isn't for them, always for you. Be selfish about your forgiveness. Be selfish about your forgiveness. That's what nobody told us. You have to do it for you. I was holding on to a bully for so long in my life. Shane Baum would beat me up every day. Every day. I think a lot of the ambition that I have carried out in life was a product of those beatings. For sure. And I just detested this person as an adult. You know, I kept that pain, I kept those memories, and I let them just sit in my gut. And you know what they did? They made me eat too much. They made me feel bad. They made me, drink too much. I was just constantly numbing myself, constantly just trying to forget. Well, Shane ended up murdering and torturing somebody. He's serving life in prison now. And I read it in the newspaper. and I cried for him. What happened to him that every day he had to come and release that on me? What happened to him that one day it just got so much that he had to do that to that person? So then I went to his Facebook and I would read the posts. Terrible. Everything he wrote was just shrouded in pain. This was a broken man. Now the result is I'm at the top of the world. He's in prison. The other piece is that for me, every time I would see a bully, my response to a bully was disproportionately aggressive. I could have been in prison because of that trauma. Because every time somebody would come and check me or bully me after that, the response from me was terrifying. Resistance. We see it in life, we feel it in life, and it stops us. Yet, in fact, we know that our own physical body requires resistance to grow. We know that nothing happens without a force against it. So why are we allowing a little bit of resistance in a day stop us from accomplishing the goal that we're supposed to accomplish that day? If there's a number of phone calls you were supposed to make, if there was a number of connections that you needed to have, if there were a number of people that you needed to cooperate with or add value to as a metric for yourself, what resistance took you off that path? Was it, I'm hungry? Was it TikTok? Was it kids? Think of the resistance in your life. Every one of the pieces of resistance that's pushing you or pulling you away from your task is an opportunity for you to grow and to re-know what the resistance is there to teach you for. How do you overcome that? Even if it's your kid, how do you give and show up for your kid in times when it's not necessary for you to work? Where are you failing in the day that it's required of you now? Everything that shows up as resistance is an opportunity for you to grow and learn, but what we end up doing is we sit down. How many of us do that? That's the worst one, because it's the one that makes us feel bad. It makes us feel shame. It makes us feel guilt. And then lazy. That's one of the hardest ones. Because when you're in that spirit of laziness, it's incredibly difficult to get out of it. It's like going to the gym. You know, I've lost 40, I was at my doctor's office yesterday and she wanted to show me a graph of my body weight. I'm down 43 pounds. Thank you. Crazy to me that that's even a thing. But I made a commitment to actually Pace and I were in Boston, and I made a commitment when we were sitting at the Cheers with Master Jeff, and I went live on Instagram. I think you remember that. And I said, I'm gonna do something, guys. I'm switching this up. I'm tired of rolling out of bed. I need to feel healthy again. I gotta figure this out. I made a commitment. Made a commitment to myself to exercise every day, to swap out a couple of the meals and see what the result was. I'm not doing anything radically different. Just 45 minutes in my morning is a little bit more intense than it was before, and I swapped out lunch. I still eat gangs of chicken wings. It's true. Small little things, right? These are the 23 daily practices that you can implement into your life to help resolve those hidden motives. And we can resolve them. Yes?
I'm curious about what the numerals were that were next to those.
It is in response to a level of consciousness. So some of these are more difficult to overcome. And if you understand the periodic table, it's weight. Atomic weight is what that number usually is. And so this is the level of resistance, the level of weight in overcoming this specific trait. So you can see some of these are easier to overcome than others. Right? Some of the hardest one, the one that for Pace and I, this one's incredibly heavy and difficult for us to overcome. Because it masks itself. It finds so many versions to show up as. That's what those mean. What are the 23 things that we can do on a day-to-day basis to help ourselves? First, set your intention to be happy. Oh, it's so simple, isn't it? Just wake up, say, I'm going to be happy today. Total and complete acceptance. You are where you are. You put yourself here. Accept it. Stop believing that it should be or could be or would be different if what? If you weren't you? If the world was upside down? What do you want? It is what it is. Be in it. You made it. You got a way out though, but accept where it is. Gratitude, appreciation for every person who got you to this point. You guys are in one of the most elite groups of humans that exist. Even being able to sit in this room right now is extremely difficult for most of humanity. The resources it required to put you in this seat is available to a very select few human beings alive. And understand that if God did not want you in this seat, you would not be in this seat. So do not let that go to waste. Again, stop holding people to agreements they didn't make with you. You're doing it. You're doing it to your friends. You're doing it to your relatives. You're doing it to your spouse. You're doing it to your kids. They don't deserve it. Kindness. Simple. Easy. We forget it. Especially to people who we think we know more than. You all suck. You don't though, but what if I actually meant it? What if I did? So what? Walk through life feeling like that. How are you going to let somebody affect you? This is one of the ones that's hardest for me because when somebody offends me, ooh, I want to tell them where to go. But really though, what does that do to me? It brings me down. It puts me on that level. It actually makes me a slave to what they had to say. Every person, every situation, every room you walk into you should leave it better than where you walked in. This is adding value to everyone. Every encounter, every opportunity is an availability for you to make somebody better. Use it. You don't push open doors. You don't solve problems. You align to solutions. The faster you understand this truth, the faster you are going to get to the goal you're looking for in life. So many of us are grinding gears to get to a spot, and that grinding of the gear is that all that noise, all that smoke, all that pain, That's showing you that you're not aligned. Own it. Own your life. It's always you. Every terrible thing that's happened to you, you made it. Hard to understand that because there's a lot of bullshit that happens out in life. And you want to say, it's how did I bring that on me? How did you find yourself in that spot? You aligned to it.
Sorry.
It's okay. And that's what's going to keep you there.
Hey, I'm always going to be a girl.
It's okay. I'm not saying but it's an alignment thing. It's nothing about being a girl or being a guy. It's about what you're thinking and feeling inside. And you can resist as long as you want.
I know it's what put me in hell, my father's hell, and I'm sorry, I didn't have anything to do with it.
Sure, but you have everything to do with holding it.
Right, holding it now.
Constant state of appreciation and gratitude for everything, even the hard stuff. I look back at what has put me in my greatest achievements in life, and they were the deepest, darkest moments that I had to live through. It's terribly painful, but it's real. You can find joy in everything you do. I had a friend who had a DUI. I said, "How was jail?" He said, "Great." When life is chaotic, be the peace. Be the peace. Find it. Find a way to sit in it. That chaos is there, and it was going to happen anyways. It was going to happen anyways. So finding a way to ground yourself in peace and chaos will get you through it. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard on you. The fact that you are again here in this room, that you had the money to be here, that you had the resources to be here, that you were able to eat this morning, that you have all of these cute t-shirts and toques in front of you, that you've got your name tags, your iPhones, everything you have, you are the most prosperous crew of people that are around right now. Think of all of the abundance in your life. Be grateful for it. What you have, you made, so accept it. And the day that you can be grateful for your station right now is when you'll be able to focus and get to the place that you're trying to go. But if you are constantly seeing yourself in a position to lack, you will remain in lack. Again, your heart's beating. Your muscles are firing. Your nerves are working. Your spine is working. Everything is working right now without your conscious mind saying to do it. How perfect. How perfect. Sun came up today, right? Mm-hmm. Gorgeous. How perfect. Every system in your body right now, hopefully, is working well. And even if it isn't, it's aligning and showing you something that you might have to work on. It's perfect. Even your eyesight. You wear glasses, but they look good. It's perfect. Every time that you're in a breakdown, just understand you're there for a reason. What do you got to do? Celebrate it. Celebrate it. What is it trying to teach you right now? What are you needing to learn? The deal's falling apart? What are you learning? Somebody's snaking you, stabbing you in the back? What are you learning? Somebody's hurting you? What am I learning? What gift am I being given right now? Don't focus on the pain that's happening. What gift am I getting right now? Chop wood, carry water. Chop wood, carry water. Set an intention to get something done, move towards it, and then detach from the outcome. You don't get to decide what you get. You get to decide to do the work. You are entitled to the work, not the result. That's real. So enjoy that. Chop wood, carry water. Chop wood, carry water. Remember that. The next time you're on the phones, the next time that you're grinding, the next time that you're doing the things, chop wood, carry water. You are entitled to that work. You are not entitled to the result. We don't live in rules. It's those of you who think that you do, sorry, nobody's following them. Nobody's following any rules. Sorry. Just look outside. We're all crazy. So decide which rules you want to live by. They're yours to make. You get to decide. You are entitled to your experience, negative or positive. The day that you can decide that you are not your mind will be the day that you will get quiet in the mind. There's streams of consciousness that you pick up on and that our brains pick up. How many of us have had the thought driving down the road, I should just drive into oncoming traffic? Who's had it? Let's be real, who's had it? Who said I could just drive into the oncoming traffic right now and kill everybody? You suicidal? No. What a crazy thought. Is that your thought? Come on now. You're not your thoughts. You can decide what to hold, you can decide what to throw. So the next time you have a crazy thought, don't own that. It's a crazy thought. Let it go. Hold the ones that serve you. Anything that you say that justifies degrading yourself, remove it. The next time you call yourself stupid, understand what you're doing to yourself. The next time that you get on a Q&A and say, sorry, it's a stupid question, understand who you're making you. The next time that you decide that what you have to think isn't valuable, understand that you're making yourself unvaluable. And when something wrong is happening, decide to like it anyways. You get to decide. You always get to decide. I learned this a lot from Pace. You know, he goes through a lot. You guys don't see behind closed doors. This man does a lot. There's moments he's nauseous from just pushing and working so hard. I see him. We live life together out there. I see him. See all the stuff he does. But you want to know what he does? He always finds a way to find happiness in it, even when he's about to throw up. Never hear him complain. You're not a psychic. I am a little bit, but you're not. You're not. You have no idea what's happening. So if you're going to make up stories about what other people are thinking and doing, make up good ones. Really. Make up good ones, because you have no flipping clue. I don't know what any of you are going through in your hearts and minds. I don't. You know what I'm going to decide? It's all good stuff. Every time that you're in a conversation with somebody and they don't do the thing you want, you know what you say to yourself? They don't like me. They don't want to work with me. When shit's just happening in their life. It's never about you. Nobody cares. So if you're going to make up a story, make it a damn good one. See how far it takes you. Guys, I love you all so much. Enjoy the next 3 days here. Thank you. Love you, Pacer. Thanks for watching another one of my YouTube videos. Now it's your turn to go out and take some action. But before you do, like and subscribe to my channel because the law of reciprocity means you owe me.